Marketing a film is like playing a game where the rules are constantly changing. What worked yesterday won't work tomorrow, interests are ever in flux, and unless you're the world's best liar, you probably shouldn't try and go for the bluff. A recent example of this that's still currently hanging on in theaters is James Gray's Ad Astra, a movie that has nothing to do with roulette or poker or gambling or whatever, but that makes for a great case study in marketing strategies. Personally, it's one of my favorite sci-fi features of the last couple of years. It isn't without its flaws, but it's grand, soulful science fiction that prioritizes intelligence and ideas over action and a now genre-standard booming Hans Zimmer-esque score. It's Apocalypse Now in space, or like an Americanized Solaris. And yes, I know that already exists. It's a quiet film, somber and meditative. Except if you've watched any of the film's trailers, you probably wouldn't think that's the kind of film I'm talking about.
If necessary, I will destroy the project in its entirety. The Earth put its hopes in him. And now, its fate is on me.
Watching the trailer, you get the feeling that it's another Interstellar, that it's an adrenaline-pumping, exciting action-adventure when it's so not. It's a bluff. Or clickbait. As cynical as it sounds, I don't think it's cause for controversy to suggest that when it comes to box office success for science fiction, action is a far better hand to hold than an intellectual one. Excitement just simply sells better than any kind of somber, ethereal tone. I mean, we just went through all of this early last year when one of Annihilation's douchebag producers deemed the film too intellectual for audiences, and, spoiler alert, he was kinda right because the movie sorta flopped. But here's what I want to focus on. There's been a great run every fall season since 2013 of deep-themed, mainstream auteur, awards-friendly, hard science fiction frequently centered around emotionally distant lead characters. That needs a name. Here we go. The Astronaut Club. All 7 features so far, including Ad Astra, have been pretty consistently well received, and for a while the club was able to tap into a seriously successful pocket of the market. Gravity, Interstellar, and The Martian all scoring major box office returns. But over the last 5 years, that pocket of the market has increasingly shrunk, the 3 films preceding Ad Astra garnering increasingly lower returns. First Man was a bit of a minor flop, Blade Runner 2049 a pretty massive flop, but Arrival actually a minor hit as its budget was on the much lower side for a mainstream sci-fi release. And that actually serves to prove a point. Because Arrival was at a low enough price point, its studio could theoretically afford to market it in more of a highbrow ethereal style and not be destroyed in the event that the film underperformed, which it didn't. It yielded a pretty solid return to the box office. However, because Blade Runner, First Man, and Ad Astra have all possessed budgets double or even triple that of Arrival, marketing them in a similar highbrow way just isn't the best strategy. All 3 are moody, meditative slow burns, and unlike their trailers, very much not action movies. But for them to prove profitable, they need to perform like Gravity and Interstellar and The Martian, which then takes us back to the beginning and back to the studio's gamble, back to their bluff. Now, again, I really like Ad Astra, but in terms of marketability, it's just not a good hand to hold. The same thing actually happened 17 years ago when Soderbergh's own Solaris was released, a film not only further down the ethereal line than Ad Astra, but also marketed as even more of a thriller, which it's just not.
Whatever you think,
She's alive.
becomes real.
For all we know, it's driving us crazy so we can watch us kill each other.
What does Solaris want from us? If you keep thinking there's a solution, you'll die here.
What if what's happening here started happening on Earth?
George Clooney.
Unlock the door! You don't know what you're in for.
Now, you may not think that any of this is important. You may look at this and say, it's a trailer, who cares, it doesn't matter, what matters is whether or not the film is any good. And you're right. What ultimately matters is that the film is good. But this is the kind of thing that results in trashy word of mouth from audiences who end up pissed off because they were sold a different product than the one they were promised, which is justified, which then only serves to harm the film. Plus, in the end, the studio's bluff basically flopped, with Deadline now reporting that the film will likely end up losing upwards of $30 million. So you're really just left scratching your head at the studio's whole strategy in the first place. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's astronaut fatigue. Or maybe the studio just shouldn't have bluffed. Maybe they should have played the game straight. Maybe. Or maybe not. Either way, it's always a gamble. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. So if you're like me, a freelancer working in the creative arts, there's really no better platform out there that can help you create a unique online presence than Squarespace. If you're a filmmaker or an animator, Squarespace is perfect for you. Their built-in templates make it incredibly easy to show off and display your work, but not only that, with Squarespace, there's never anything you have to install or patch or upgrade. Building a professional-looking site has never been as easy as it is right now. You can go to squarespace.com/RoyalOceanFilm for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, 10% off of your first purchase of a website or a domain.